Oh yeah, it's your boy Livewire, and I'm back in the motherfucking building, baby. But I didn't come alone. Guess who's in here with me? It's the guy, the guy from the PlayStation side, Mr. Porter Rock 77. What's going on?
My bad, too early. What's up, people? It's your boy Porter Rock 77. You know that sound was good. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so I get accused of being such a hardcore Xbox guy, and not to say that I am not. And the same goes for Porter Rock. But I just felt that, who better than us two to talk about gaming, but the hardcore from both sides. I mean, yes, we are hardcore. What would you say, Porter Rock fanboys? Is that what we're considered to be?
Let's just say we're passionate.
Yeah, all right. Now, even though we are hardcore on maybe one side or the other, at the same time, we're not crazy. All right. Well, all right. Porter Rock's not crazy. I can't speak. Maybe I'm a little bit more nuts than he is. It is what it is. I've what in the great words of Charlie Murphy, I'm a habitual line stepper at times. But yeah, what I wanted to do is talk about just what's going on in gaming right now, and the main thing we're hearing a lot of is Xbox has no games, and I guess we have to address this. So I'll let you have the floor first, and then I'll rebuttal, and then we could look at both sides afterwards.
Okay, so what, you can ask the question first, or you want me to just
So what do you think as far as like the whole thing going around that Xbox has no games?
I think I say number one is just I say it first and foremost is just shit talking, getting back of the whole sparse, and so it's just a back and forth between fanboys. So if you want to look at it from a fanboy's perspective, it's just the shit talking of kind of like the reverse voles for like the first 2-3 years, sparse, not enough exclusive, PlayStation 4 got no games. So now, and then during that time, Xbox was weak, doesn't have the power. So it's pretty much each fanboy is giving each other a taste of their own medicine, just on the reverse script. But now, if you want to be serious about the conversation, just not the exaggerated part, it's just the little concern of what's Microsoft doing in terms of developing their own first party studios, because you don't hear much about that. You don't hear much about, hey, we hired new talent to create a new studio, or hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're creating freaking 5 borough studios, and we're planning some projects on this. You don't hear much about that on the Xbox. They're pretty quiet. Hopefully at E3 they can provide, at least shed some light, saying, hey, we opened up some new studios, we hired some new talent, and we're gonna create some more Xbox IPs and stuff like that. So on a realistic non-fanboy sense, they just been real quiet on how they're growing the brand of Xbox outside of services, because they're doing real great in terms of services, especially recently with the refund program and stuff like that. They keep improving the Xbox 360 compatibility and stuff like that. So things in terms of services, they're really making huge strides, because they just keep adding services, and they're doing a lot of stuff that's great for the network. But as far as a game developer, so let's just specifically as Microsoft game developing studios, they haven't grown. They gotten smaller, and people are just concerned. Like the non-fanboys, people who are just, people who want to see Microsoft Studio as a first party, grow bigger and bigger, is just a concern. So the whole no games has always been an exaggeration, because there's always games, because that's the whole point of third party. What I'm saying? The one company that has to worry about no games is Nintendo, because they suck at fostering third party. So that's a console that you can literally worry about having no games, because you don't have the third party support. That's why third party support is so important, because you will always have games to play as long as third party is willing to make the games for your platform. But I think in a non-fanboy, no bullshit, no shit talking sense, it's just concerns on what is Phil's plan to grow Microsoft first party studios. Who is he hiring? What studios? Will Coalition do more IPs besides, Gears of War? Things like that. Those are the questions. Is Rare also working on another project? Things like that. That's really the non-fanboy way of looking at it.
Yeah,
everything else is just shit talking.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think that man, all right, yeah, there is shit talking. Yeah, we did give the Sparks thing, and it's a lot of layers to this, man. It's a lot of layers. All right, so let me just address the shit talking. The shit talking, it will be fair, but the only problem is the media always takes Sony's side. Yeah, that's the only thing. Like even when Sony is at, like, say when they have the whole sparse thing, it's like, yeah, PlayStation games are sparse, but this was ingenious. You know, like it's always like where Xbox, it was like Xbox has no games right now. They got indies. Who the fuck wants these indies? Like, it'd be like, damn, what the fuck? Like this, they just can't get a win. Like even I'm trying to think, like when the indies were huge on PlayStation, it was because they didn't have the AAAs. So that's why indies became the talk of the town as far as like, what's Microsoft doing? They don't like indies because all their focus was on third party. Then I mean on AAA. And then when they tried to go to, all right, you know what? We'll do AAAs in the wintertime. Then during the slower months, we'll do the indies and then, you know, ramp back up with the AAAs. They just don't, I don't know. They don't get that same level of respect as far as like, it always seems like the media aims at us like this is some agenda. They don't even have games, or they're not what's the best way, authentic as far as the reason behind. I live by a police station, so don't mind that. But they're not authentic as far as the reason behind why they have, you know, no AAAs right now. And I just think that, to me, that's what really kind of, it just throws more fire. Like you're always gonna have fanboy wars and console wars. It is what it is. It's the media is just out there pouring gas on that bitch. They just like chiming in. But as far as the future, I can see how people are concerned because Sony's been around. They've been around longer. So your worries of them not having games is just not, I don't know, it's just not there. You already kind of know their pattern. They start slow and then they ramp up later on in the generation. It's just kind of their MO. Yeah. And also with Sony. And what the fuck you doing over there?
I'm hearing some weird shit, man. I think my shit's haunted.
It
stopped, right?
Yeah, it stopped now.
It sounded like a chopper, right? I'm like, what the
It sounded like somebody was running, like a little person was running around up in there. But yeah, you know, like with Sony, they just have a longer reputation as far as what they do. So, I mean, I get why certain people are more fearful about what Microsoft is doing because they just don't know. And you've kind of switched hands. Yoshida's been there in his position longer than obviously Phil's. Even though Phil is the guy that we wanted there, it's still a new regime. We really don't know. Yeah. And we're just trying to figure like what this is the E3 that everybody expects that we're going to figure out, you know, the blueprint of what Microsoft is trying to do. I'm not saying that like they're going to show every game that they have for the next however long, because we already know that that's not what Microsoft's trying to do. They're not about to show you games 3 years out. They just won't do it just because of what happened to Fable and Scalebound. But with that being said, you know, I have a little bit more faith in what we're getting. You know, I know I like what I've already seen coming out this year. But like most people, they're just wondering, well, what's after that? What's for 2008? We know it's 2017. But what about 2018? What's coming out for that? So yeah, I can see the concerns, but I don't know. I mean, I think both are like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna do. Like this holiday is like everybody's saying Spider-Man, God of War, maybe, yes, no, maybe. But then again, it's like I don't know if that even makes sense with all those third-party advertisement deals that they have. Like to me, that's like, you know, why would you get God of War and then put it out around Red Dead? Wouldn't that make any sense at all?
Yeah. So I agree too, because they put what the fuck? They put so much.
You sound like you rolling around the cord.
Like, wow, this shit is weird. But they put so much. They put They put effort into the third party deals.
Yeah.
You're right. It wouldn't make too much sense. It wouldn't make too much sense in doing in putting God of War, because in a way you're kind of fighting against each other. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's all on one platform, you're pitting God of War against Red Dead Redemption, Destiny 2, and all that. And Sony doesn't want that. Because these third party games that sell, the console manufacturer also makes money off of royalties.
Yeah.
So for every Call of Duty game that sells on Xbox, Microsoft gets a check. Same thing with Sony. For every Red Dead Redemption that sells, they get a check. So they don't want people to be like, I'm not gonna get Red Dead Redemption because I'm gonna buy God of War. Sony doesn't want that scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They want you to buy Red Dead Redemption and buy God of War as best they can. So they're trying to balance that out. That's why Sony's not too big on releasing their big exclusives towards the end of the year, and they do it towards the beginning where there isn't that many multi-plats. If they do release, I could see maybe Spider-Man only because of the movie comes out in July. So I could see them releasing Spider-Man maybe August.
Yeah, I would say Spider-Man makes more sense than God of War.
Yeah, God of War, I see them pushing that big game in March.
Yeah, February, March.
Because
you know what it to me is? Like God of War throwing, like I always make this analogy with spades. You play spades? Or, so to me it's like if your man already got the book and threw out the two of diamonds, and then you came behind him and threw out the fucking big joker. You be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like
you're little and shit. Yeah,
you literally cut me. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, the book is already won. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
so I could see, and here's the thing. The tactic has been working because you've seen Microsoft, they try to push hard on releasing holiday exclusives. I mean, they last 2 years they've done a good job of just trying to flood the holiday season with exclusive games.
Yeah.
But then, you look at MPD, people kept buying PlayStation, so who knows? Microsoft, I mean, this year they'll probably still push the holiday exclusive lineup because that's already in play. But I think next year they might switch it up a little bit. They would have to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They can't keep going year after year of people complaining. Because I always say the battle for November begins in January, because you got all the people who are looking what console to get or what gift to buy for November. They start looking at that stuff now.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh yeah, you know what? I keep hearing good things about Xbox. I'm gonna get an Xbox in November. Or I'm gonna get this when November comes. Everybody's already planning what they're gonna buy in November based on what they're hearing, But if all you're hearing is bad news, chances are you're gonna be like, I'm not gonna get that because I keep hearing people talking about no games, and I keep hearing this, I keep hearing that. I'm gonna just get this then, So you want to keep good momentum all throughout the year as best you can. You really don't want to go through a period of where you go something wrong, because then that's where consumers, if they hear something's wrong, then they may not buy your product come November, December. You know what I'm saying? So you want to try to best balance the whole year to push November. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because, I mean, with Microsoft, I think to these years, like, I think the game plan obviously is different. PlayStation is about controlling their position, and Microsoft is more so about redefining their brand.
Yeah.
Like if people think that Scorpio is going to drop and then it's going to just catch up with the PlayStation, like at the end of the year, it's not going to happen. I don't even know if it'll do it in America, but it's just not going to happen, because first things first, Microsoft has to rebuild their brand. As much as an Xbox gamer, I love their content. I understand that the reputation is that, they're not the better console right now. Is like, that's what people believe. It's like, to me, it's like no different than when a dude got burnt by a girl, like he thought she was gonna give him some ass, but she didn't. So instead of just saying nothing, he was like, man, fuck that bitch. I'm gonna run around and tell everybody that chick sucked my dick. So now everybody thinks she's a dick sucker. She didn't even do the shit. But that's the reputation that she has, regardless of if she did it or not.
Yeah. Reputation is huge.
And that's what happened with Microsoft. Like, people felt they were burnt, so they just spread the reputation that, one, it's not a good console, or it's not as good as PlayStation, and all the other stuff with can't do rentals and whatever.
Yeah, that was the thing that hurt them when they were talking about not playing used games. Microsoft never actually implemented. That was a conversation they were going to do, but after a week, they just dropped it. But like a year and a half later, you still have people thinking, "Oh, you can't play used games on Xbox." You know what I'm saying?
Well, because everybody.
It's just that bad rep. You know what I'm saying? You have to be real careful how you present yourself and shit like that, because that shit could just stay with you for a while. And I agree with you. Scorpio is pretty much a rebranding in the sense that it's Phil Spencer's attempt to make sure people know that they're no longer worried about the TV and all this multimedia shit.
You know what?
That is straight up a gaming console, focused on gaming, focused on providing you the best versions of games you could possibly play on console, while at the same time not hurting the third-party developers into providing you with this experience. So I agree, it's the start of Xbox going back to what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. What I think they're gonna do, and from what I'm seeing from Xbox, is that they're going with the whole Steve Jobs approach, as far as like how he rebuilt Mac after they kind of fell apart and they started trying to do too much and do all this extra shit, and Jobs came back in. It was like, what do? We build computers. So guess what? Stop making cameras, stop making fucking printers and all this other bullshit. What we're gonna do is make the best computer for an affordable price, and that's basically what Xbox is going to try to do with Scorpio. They're trying to, from what I'm seeing, they're trying to basically come out and say they're the best console to do multiplats. They might not have the best exclusives, but they have to be the best at something, right? Yeah. If PlayStation is going to be the best at exclusives, they can't allow Sony to be the best at exclusives and multiplats. Yeah. You can't. That's why you have the situation you have now. So, maybe, obviously Scorpio will become the best at multiplats. PlayStation will probably still, for the foreseeable future, be the best at exclusives. Whether or not I like them or not doesn't matter. That's, they have exclusives that people want, and Nintendo will be the best at being, kid friendly, I guess.
Well, I think Scorpio, and this is a lot of conversation is not being talked about this, where I think Scorpio will truly shine is not for this gen, but believe it or not, is when the next gen starts. Because Scorpio already jumped on, to the 4K, 4K, native 4K, and in my opinion, even if it does, 4K 60 at medium settings, not even ultra high, I still see that as a win. I still see that as very impressive, because the current consoles we got, they can't even do 1080p 60 ultra. You know what I'm saying? So people going, I'm gonna wait till Scorpio comes out and see if it actually does ultra. Even if it doesn't, let's say it does 4K 30 ultra, I still see that as a win. I still see that as a huge leap and an impressive leap. Now, where I think Scorpio is really gonna shine is 3-4 years from now. And the reason why I say that, because by that time the console will be maybe $300, $250, right? Yeah. And then PlayStation will come out with the PS5 and hype native 4K. Microsoft could be like, hey, we've been doing that. It's only $250, and you got a whole library of games. So why buy a PS5 for $400 when you could get a Scorpio for $250? So I think that's where Scorpio advantage is going to come. The fact that Microsoft jumped on the train sooner. So in 2-3 years, when 4K TVs are more popular, cheaper, it's in more people's houses, you could jump on the 4K, gaming bandwagon for like $250 vice $400 or $450 or $500. You know what I mean? So I think that's what Scorpio's gonna shine.
No, that's my fault.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where Scorpio's really gonna shine. It's not gonna shine as much. It's gonna shine in terms of performance and how games look. But as in market penetration and people jumping on, be like, yeah, I'm gonna get a Scorpio. I think that $250 price tag 3 years from now is really gonna help when people are buying more 4K TVs and they're looking for an affordable console with that 4K TV. And I think that's where Scorpio is really gonna shine. It's gonna be the affordable 4K console.
Yeah, I don't think. It's hard to say. Like, depending on how expensive Scorpio is. You know what the funny thing is? Everybody thought when the Pro came out, everybody was going to jump on the Pro and say, forget the PS4 Slim, right? The only thing that really...
I didn't.
Well, as far as an Xbox guy, like to us, we were saying it doesn't make any sense to get the PS4 Slim unless especially if the Pro is $100 more. The thing that really messed up the Pro was the fact that not all of the games that are currently on the PlayStation 4 were playing. Some of them were playing a little bit worse than what they were originally, and that's what the thing was like. A lot of people were like, "Wait, hold up." If it's not going to be dramatically better, and some of the games are going to play a little bit worse, it's just like I don't know if I should pay all this extra money for this console that. And I'm talking about from the hardcore perspective, because casuals weren't going to buy it anyway because it was just too expensive.
Yeah,
it was already outside their price range, and casuals probably are likely not going to buy the Scorpio, especially not the first year. They just don't. I mean, the only way I could see, like, the Scorpio would have to blow your mind as far as like the games that we're seeing. It would have to hit similar to the way that Xbox or the OG hit, when people will go over to somebody's house that had an Xbox and then play Halo or something like that for the first time.
Yeah.
Like Crackdown would have to be Halo or Sea of Thieves or State of Decay. Like, those games will have to be Halo, because Halo can't be Halo. It doesn't make any sense. It's already here. Like, you can't ask for the next Gears when Gears is already here, because you need something new. Like, I guess Horizon was the biggest biggest new game to come out for PS4. And even though I don't like it, and I've said, God damn it, even though I'm not a fan of Horizon at all, I understand why people like it. I see where the appeal is, especially if you're a single player focused gamer. That's my issue. I'm just not as into single players. Like, it's like pulling teeth for me. Like Mass Effect I just beat, but it's only because I'm a sci-fi nerd. That's why I play that game the way I do. If it was like, I haven't beaten Mad Max, I'm fucking struggling with Shadows of Mordor, struggling.
Yeah.
And with the Sleeping Dogs, I'm still trying to beat that game, because my attention is just, it's so easy for somebody to be like, yo, Live, what you doing? You want to play some multiplayer? Yeah, sure. And just jump on the Gears, because it's just like, those games are more appealing to me at this point in time. I don't know. I guess as an Xbox gamer, I don't know. That just kind of comes with the territory. Especially when you're on.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, with the advent of online, it created just people have different expectations. That's the reason why some people only play Call of Duty and Madden. It's because of the online. If they're not playing Madden, they go on Call of Duty. If they're not playing Call of Duty, they play Madden, because that's just preference and stuff. Some people don't like the single player because they want the interactivity. Online gaming provides a unique experience with every game. With a single player, it's almost like you could tell what's going to happen over and over. While in an online game, 1 minute you're dominating, and then the next minute you're getting your ass ripped apart, simply because it's different people and different play styles and stuff. Yeah, so it's all good. I mean, every game is not going to be for everybody. I think the main thing is to be a console where you're not stuck, where your console only provides single player experiences, and then all the people that like online, you do nothing for them. Or if you're an online only gamer, you know what I'm saying? If Phil Spencer and Yoshida and all those guys, they have to try to find a balance to where, guys like you are happy with what you got. But if people want a single player experience, they have those games for those people. And if you want indies, you got, it's really hard, because it's really, the main thing is you're trying to be a console that could please everyone as best you can. And that's where you're going to get the most sales. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, for instance, a lot of people don't like JRPGs or, Japanese games, and they don't sell like 10 million or like Grand Theft Auto. But one game might sell 800,000. One game might sell 1.2. This game might sell 7. When you look at the whole scheme, each individual game helped bring in millions and millions of gamers simply because of what that game did and how much of it appealed. So the game by itself may not be big, but when you look at the genre as a whole and see how many people it attracts, you realize, holy shit, we just gained 9 million, members, 9 million console purchases simply because you have this genre locked down. You understand what I'm saying? And 9 million could be huge, because that 9 million that likes JRPGs, they might all gravitate to a big third-party game like Star Wars. Yeah. And now Star Wars sells 6 or 7 million more as compared to another platform. which now makes the third party think, hey, this is the fucking platform that sells more games, so we're gonna start doing crazy shit like we'll include free DLC with a preseason pass while we won't do it on the other platform. You know, they start doing weird shit because they want to attract the bigger fan base because they see these numbers and these sales and shit like that, and they start doing weird shit like green disc ain't sexy, and they just start doing weird shit because the money is blinding them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see that.
This is not new because this was like happening with the 360. You know, the 360 was a market leader for a while, and like, you know, they were getting, 360 was getting a lot of content first. You didn't see no time exclusives on PS3 at all because at that time Microsoft had a policy
they used to get the Batman shit.
Yeah. So they know what I'm talking about is not the content, but like the game. Like for instance, Microsoft had a policy that if a game was released first on PlayStation, then you couldn't make it on Xbox. That's the reason why Metal Gear Solid 4 didn't come to 360 because they made the game first on PS3 and 360 and Microsoft wasn't having that. If you made a game first and you put it on PS3 first, then forget it. You know we're not gonna get second servings. And what that did was it prevented third-party studios or it prevented Sony from getting certain games first. You understand what I'm saying? Because a third-party studio would be like, hey, we would like to make your console first, but 360 is the market leader, and that's where the money is. So we can't. What we could do is give you some DLC. We could do that, but we can't put this game on your platform first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what market shares do. It allows you to wield that level of power.
Yeah, that makes sense because nowadays we're looking at Sony with a lot of these games coming there first, but they've always tried to do that before. The difference is developers were afraid to do it because on 360 you're talking that would be like developers making an exclusive for Xbox One and knowing that can't come on PS4, and we know that nowadays that's just hard to do.
Yeah, that makes them nervous.
Yeah, especially if they're not making any money off. I mean, Microsoft's not really paying anything for it.
Yeah,
like it's one thing if you have a small team and Microsoft is funding it and you're like, all right, well, screw it. I can't afford to make this game anyway.
Yeah.
But it's another thing where it's just like, man, I have the money to do it and we could, hold the time because you're just not going to want to wait that long because the value of it really hurt two franchises this year. One more so than the other. Microsoft got Tomb Raider first and those sales were not great for on PS4, and then they also got Titanfall.
Yeah.
Well, they had the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
I don't know what happened with that, man. I just think that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it's a combination. I don't know how well it did on 360, but Titanfall 2 wasn't available on 360. The first one was. Yeah. So I don't know if 360 fans played a big role on the sales, and then also. They put it. I don't know. I wasn't sure. They never broke it down. And another thing, they put in the same month as Battlefield, bro. I don't know what the hell EA was thinking.
Damn. My phone going off every 5 seconds.
Yeah, Battlefield, just owned that month. Battlefield fucking took over October. Everybody went and bought that game.
Yeah, that's true.
And so they should. I don't think they should have put Titanfall in between after Battle and then Gears of War 4 was out too. So you had like Battlefield, Gears of War 4, then Titanfall, and then like a week later, Call of Duty. That shit got sandwiched like a motherfucker.
You know what it is? I don't think they believe Battlefield will have the impact that it did. I think that's what they kind of. Yeah. To me, that would have been like putting out Halo and then putting out Gears.
Yeah, right after back.
Gears doesn't sell as much as Halo. Well, it's fucking as good as Gears is.
Yeah,
man, Gears is brutal, man. Like brutal. Like it's not for the weak, man. That shit is rough, especially in multiplayer. Like if you go in there as a I don't even have to say you're a noob. If you go in there rusty,
yeah,
you will get your ass handed to you. Your legs will be blown off multiple times. You walking around like, man, what the fuck, yo? What's going on, man? But yeah, I mean, the other thing that really hurt Titanfall more so than anything, because at least Tomb Raider was still good. Like the people that played it on PS4 enjoyed it. Maybe they didn't like it as much as Uncharted, but you know what? It's kind of like it's like who played what first kind of determines who liked what game. Because it sounds like to me like people that played Uncharted first tend to gravitate like, oh, that's the series that I like more so than Tomb Raider, you know. And people that like played Tomb Raider first and then played Uncharted, like, you know, I like Tomb Raider more than I like Uncharted, just because even though they're similar, they kind of they do a lot of things differently. You know, Tomb Raider's more gameplay and you know upgrades and stuff like that. You don't really do. Uncharted is more like Gears, where you just pick up a weapon and you just shoot that bitch until you get another one. You know.
Yeah.
Whereas Tomb Raider is more like you gotta upgrade and like shit. I played that whole game. I don't even use the gun. I just use bow and arrows and shit. I just like stealth. But yeah, man. I mean, I think that the Scorpios is gonna do well. I mean, I think it's gonna have a bigger month than the Pro did, but I think that's because I don't know what the fuck. Sony didn't really advertise it. I still have seen little to no advertisements for, like, maybe in a flyer here or there, but like, what the fuck, yo?
I think with Pro, I don't think Pro is like their main focus per se.
Yeah.
I think as long as I don't think Sony cares which console you buy. I mean, if you want to buy Slim, that's fine. If you want to buy Pro, that's fine. Either way, damn.
You know, Puerto Rican sound like you know. I don't know what the fuck you doing on that shit. Kind of sounds crazy.
I hope my laptop doesn't go up and shit.
That's it up. Wait, okay, it stopped.
It's bugged out. It's like mad static. I feel like fucking like Electro Man or shit.
Oh, this is crazy, man.
It's like the static.
I'm on the carpet.
I'm on a carpet, but like I always done my podcast in here. It's bugged out. I have to check my outlets and shit. Yo, it's crazy. All right, so let me go back to what I'm saying. So I don't think Sony cares at this point if what user is gonna buy what, because either way you're going into the PlayStation ecosystem and stuff. Yeah. So that's why, like, you didn't see a PlayStation Pro bundle. Like, you didn't see an Uncharted Pro bundle, but you saw the Slim bundle with Uncharted.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? But it's weird. It's weird what angle they're trying to go with Pro. I think right now Sony's probably just moving on from the whole hardware thing at this stage, and they're just putting more focus on, you know, games and stuff like that. And they're gonna ride out the rest of the gen with games until the PS5 comes out.
Yeah, I mean, so it makes sense.
But it's gonna be an interesting battle how this November will pan out with hardware versus content, or, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Sony's going to. I don't know. I mean, I think. Well, I mean, overall, obviously they're going to win because you're talking about like they're just in more places, just period. Like when I was
saying the U.S. in North America particularly, because there's countries that Xbox doesn't even like sell. They don't even exist, you know, and mostly in Europe and stuff, and then Asia. So those areas Xbox can't win if you don't sell it. If you don't even attempt to sell, then that's I'm just more interested in North America, how this pans out, because this is the heart of Xbox right here in North America and stuff like that. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see the Scorpio's impact. You know, it's going to be interesting to see the market reaction to price. That's going to be interesting, and when they unveil it in June, you know how gamers react to the price and stuff. Because console pricing has always been finicky and stuff. Like right now, the new sweet spot is 400. When you remember back in the days, it used to be 300. And whenever they try to sell a 400 console, everybody be like, "What the fuck? $400 bullshit," and stuff like that. But now 400 is an acceptable price. It's going to be interesting to see. I think Scorpio will do a lot better at 400 than 5, obviously. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Like if they say $399, that's huge. I think because $399, I think is a very acceptable price for just a console. Period. Just for, you know, just to buy. It doesn't have to be a premium console. Just for a good gaming console, $399 is a very acceptable price. So if Scorpio launches at $399, I think that's going to be a very huge push factor. That would make a lot of people change their minds on getting an Xbox One S.
Yeah,
instead of a Scorpio. I think that's a good range right there. If it launches at 5, it's going to be interesting how they budget that. But I would say this E3 is going to be huge for Microsoft. Besides just showing 4K.
Well, yeah, because we don't know. I mean, we already saw PSX, and PSX showed a lot of shit that they could have held for E3. So, I just, man, I mean, $4.99. That tells us a lot. One, I think if they're gonna sell it for $4.99, they're basically saying that I don't know if they're selling it at a loss, because they might feel what's the point?
Yeah.
If a lot of people, if we're gonna get the people that want to get this to buy day one anyway, what's the point of selling at a loss if you're not gonna really be able to get casuals to buy it anyway?
I agree.
All right. Then the other thing is, if they're also selling at $4.99, is this thing is more powerful than we probably thought it was, and therefore they have more shit in it that requires them to have to put the price tag at what it is. But then again, if like it's like you said before, it future proofs it for the next couple of years, because when the PS5 comes out, or the PS Pro, whatever they want to call it, comes out, Xbox will already have a console that's capable of doing a lot of the things that the PS5 will be able to do, like the whole V-Sync and shit we don't even have yet. See, that's the thing that was impressive to me, because the S did that too with HDR, because I didn't know what the fuck HDR was until I saw the ad. Well, shit, it was like Xbox One S has HDR gaming. I'm like, what the fuck is HDR gaming? Even PC guys was like, what the fuck is HDR gaming?
Yeah.
So only people who really knew what HDR were people that were camera enthusiasts that were like, oh shit, HDR.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Scorpio to I don't know, it'll be interesting.
I would just say people just need to, I mean, obviously the fanboys are going to do what to do, but in reality, it's just going to be a slow burn. It's going to be a powerful console. It's going to bring up hype little by little. More conversations will be on the performance of Scorpio version games, and not so much on Xbox One and vanilla Xbox version of games. There's going to be more everybody's going to be more talking about how this game is running on Scorpio, and then they'll probably mention Xbox One, but no one's really going to care. They're going to be like, whatever, because they want to see how Scorpio handles games in 4K, at what resolution, at what frames, at what settings. So that's going to be the focus over the next 2-3 years. And that's going to take, some of the weight off of Xbox One S. No one's really going to pay attention if they made another game at 720p. No one's really going to care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's good for Xbox One S because no one's going to focus on that anymore. Yeah. Everybody's going to want to see how Scorpio runs games at max settings. And then over time, Scorpio will eventually drop in price. It'll go from 5 to 450, 450 to 4 to 350, 300. And by the time 4K becomes the standard, like normal, now it's just like, like the way everybody has 1080p TVs, everyone just has 4K TVs because it's just the normal thing. Scorpio will be a very affordable, cheap option because it's not like the PS5 is going to be able to push 8K. So obviously, the PS5 is going to be just another iteration of 4K. It's going to be native 4K, yada, yada, yada.
It makes sense to do it just because if they did try to push 8K, then they would be doing the same thing that the Scorpio did, and then it'll be like, all right, you're trying to market to an even smaller demographic, because in 3 years, I still don't think 8K will be the thing. 4K will just be becoming the standard.
Yeah, so chances are the PS5 is going to be 4K, but you already have a 4K console with Scorpio at a cheaper price, So even if Sony manages to launch the PS5 at $400, a 250 Scorpio, you save $150. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a dynamic that so Microsoft is putting themselves in a better position for the next generation of console right off the gate with a cheaper product that already does native 4K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I see Scorpio. I see Scorpio more as a longer term fight for the next iteration, and not so much this round.
Yeah, to be honest, if a PS5 comes out, I don't know if it can come out at $400 at that time, because if the Scorpio is going to be out at $300 or $350, even though people will have a library of games, the other thing is most people sell their games. And as much as I like the 360, and a lot of people had a lot of 360 games, a lot of people traded that shit in, because after you play those games a while, unless they're digital, you're not really going back to it. You know, I mean, that's the thing about digital. And
Hey,
even when you have digital, I mean, unless you love a game, you're not. I mean, shit. There's Xbox One games I don't like. Watch Dogs. I don't touch that fucking game.
Hey, let me address one of the common guys because this is a serious podcast. Let me help your peoples out. So to Others Inc., he said Sony can't make a PS5. They're broke. This is why they can't drop the price of Pro. All right, bro, let me help you out. Broke people don't pay for advertisements like for Red Dead Redemption, Star Wars. Broke people don't build constant new IPs. Broke people don't get Spider-Man IP rights. Broke people don't give Kojima a blank check so he can hire all these movie stars to make a game. You know what I'm saying? These are not. You could say Sony and their other ventures, like in their movies, fucking phones, whatever other shit that they do as a company is having problems. But as far as PlayStation division, they're making their own money and they're investing in themselves. They're not worried about what the movie studio is doing, or is what Sony mobile Xperia phones are doing, or if they're making batteries or selling buildings and shit. The PlayStation division don't care about that. They're not involved in any of the other bullshit. They're just worrying about themselves. And because PlayStation division is the number one division, Sony is pretty much giving them a green light to do whatever they want.
Well, yeah,
that division, that division can do whatever the hell they want. Yeah, that division can do what they want. So to say they're too broke for a PS5, they're probably already started designing it right now. Because when the PS4 was designed, they started it in 2007, which was a year after PS3 release. And they were losing money with the PS3. They were losing billions every single year, and yet they were still developing the PS4. So now that they're making more money than ever, they're probably already on the blueprint for what PS5 is going to look like in about 3 or 4 years. So they have money, believe me, especially when you could pay for Rockstar marketing rights. A fucking game like that, you ain't broke. Not by far. You may not have Microsoft money, but Microsoft has money based on all the shit they do. The Windows services, government contracts, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot, So, but as far as gaming divisions, it's clear that between Xbox and Sony, between PlayStation and Xbox, PlayStation has been spending more money on the brand than what Microsoft has been doing.
Yeah, I think Microsoft is really holding back as far as their purse strings on what they're spending, especially because I think they're launching a new console. So, to me, I spoke about this on K Mega's podcast. To me, it makes more sense to kind of pull back and save all your money to be pushed out for the rest of the year when Scorpio, because it doesn't make sense. Like people are like, well, why don't you advertise games right now? And my thing is, what's the point? If it's not going to push the needle, what's the point of doing it?
I would say the reason why is because remember, you still got the Xbox One S, and people are forgetting about that. That's the moneymaker still for Xbox. I mean, Scorpio's gonna rebrand the name, but your moneymaker is still your Xbox One S. Like even now, people
but your main face is gonna be the Scorpio.
Yeah, but your moneymaker is your Xbox One S. That's the moneymaker. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, people are buying your Xbox One S even as we speak. They're buying it right now. They're going inside the store and they're pulling it off the shelf. You know what I'm saying? So like games that we already know, like we already know about Crackdown. We already been known about State of Decay. We've been known about.
Well, we know, but they got still advertise that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We know these games are coming out. So whether, what I'm saying? So there's no reason to hide it. Just advertise it, put it out to the public. Because no matter what, come E3, we're gonna see the game in 4K, whatever.
Yeah.
So whether you advertise it now doesn't take away from the E3.
Well,
it's kind of like, for example, it's kind of like Uncharted Lost Legacy. Sony announced that it's coming out in August. You know what I'm saying? That announcement doesn't take away from when they show more gameplay at E3. But people now know it's coming out in August, so people are now pre-ordering it. People know it's being advertised. The information's out there. So I think Microsoft should just do that. Like, hey, Crackdown's being released September 19th. Cool. Now when we see E3, we get to see this game that's coming out September 19th in 4K or whatever. But at least people know. You see the posters. You see it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason to hold out for 2 more months when everybody kind of knows that.
I don't know. It's a hard call. Because everybody has different strategies, and they're probably looking at it as, you could like this is what my idea for Microsoft should be. If they're gonna like say State of Decay and Sea of Thieves and all that stuff, they should have most of those games didn't have real gameplay. So the problem is they can't really show it in advertisements until they have legitimate gameplay that's going to be in the game. Like Horizon's gameplay has pretty much been out for 2 years before it was actually released. Because we saw that 2 back-to-back E3s, right? If I'm not mistaken. So that's why we saw its gameplay being on the real, the PlayStation reel that they always show. And that's what Microsoft needs to do, because they've done a few of those, but they haven't done a lot. And they always show stuff that are currently out. They never show stuff that's coming out. That's their one big issue. They have to show, like if a game's coming out a year from now or 6 months from now, it should be in that reel. That's their issue, that they don't show stuff like that. But as far as Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, and what's State of Decay, they do need to have a poster for that. But I understand that they can't really, much more than that really show. I don't. You know what? It's just hard for me to say as far as should they show it yet, because nobody really knows what those games look like. Like State of Decay is not going to look like what it did on the Xbox 360. It's a completely, it's the same premise, but if you're talking about something going from single A or indie to triple A, like that's a big fucking jump. And then you got Crackdown. Crackdown was always a double A title, and now they're trying to push it into triple A status, with this whole technology behind it. And Sea of Thieves, they're trying to make into like the pirate version of Destiny. So they got to promote those games. I mean, if they want them to sell, they got to promote. Obviously that's one of the places where the money's going. It has to go to promoting those games, and it has to go to promoting the Scorpio, Yeah.
So, it's good.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would just say, just by seeing how some games sell, I think advertisement just used. The sooner you can let gamers know when the games are coming out, because the thing about Scorpio, it's not like it's presenting new exclusives to the platform. Because whatever game comes out and they're going to show on E3, it's also going to be available for the Xbox One S. Or everything's playable, everything. So it's not like Scorpio is introducing new IPs just for Scorpio. So there's and I can imagine like if there's going to be new IPs and you want to hold out for June E3 as a surprise, okay, that's cool, because you always want that big surprise at E3. But Crackdown, these games aren't a surprise no more. Everybody the hardcore already knows about it. So it's not like when they show Crackdown with all that surprise that the game is being unveiled. We already knew about it. It's just how good it looks. So advertising it now, saying coming soon, Crackdown, September, August, whatever, and in Scorpio, native 4K 60. Okay, that's just advertisement. That's getting the word out. That's getting people to know, So when they walk in Best Buy, they start seeing posters and they start seeing commercials. When they're watching TV, they start seeing these stuff. E3, now we get to see it in its full glory at 4K 60 and all that stuff, because that's really what Scorpio's going to bring. It's going to.
But you know what? Their issue was they didn't show any gameplay for it. Like Horizon Zero Dawn had full gameplay, I forget how many minutes it was, but it was a decent amount of time. It was about 8 minutes, right? Crackdown had none of that. You're talking about the most, if you put all the clips of Crackdown's, gameplay footage together, we might have seen maybe a minute and a half. Yeah. So that's a big difference between, trying to advertise that, saying that this game is coming, when I think from what I heard, they had to go back and they bought the Havoc Studios because they needed help, working on Crackdown. It's obviously a technology that they felt, needed to improve, and they couldn't do it on their own, so they had to go out and acquire the Havoc, engine and studio team in order to actually build on that. And the other thing is, if you're going to do that much, and I think they acquired it 1.5 years ago, I would like to see that they actually use that engine on something other than Crackdown. Like, to me, it would be a pointless acquisition to just have Crackdown and utilize that tech and nothing else. It just wouldn't make any sense. It would. I mean, look at Sony with the Gorilla engine. Yeah, they're using it for what? I don't know if they're using it for Uncharted, but they're using it for Death Stranding and Horizon Zero Dawn, and obviously the next Killzone, whichever that is.
Yeah, the Decima engine. Yeah, they're using. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed that because we've been talking about we all been talking about cloud for a long time, going back to 2014. Yet it's still only being associated to Crackdown. I would think by now they would be talking about other games. I hope they mention it maybe for State of the Gate 2, because the way the game's designed, I think would be pretty cool. Like if they included that technology to where.
Well, to me, it sounds like, all right. Well, State of Decay, they're doing something on some. I don't. You ever watch the Westworld? You watch that show?
I haven't seen it. I just seen trailers of it.
All right. So in the Westworld, it's basically like. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the old one, but it's basically like a theme park, basically for adults, right? Run by these machines and whatnot, and machines have all these programs, and based on what you say and what they see and the experiences that they encounter determines how they feel and how things change. Now, I like that idea for a game like State of Decay, and I think it's something new, it's something fresh to gaming because it's dynamic. It's it's always going to be changing. I don't feel like my experience will be the same as yours. But the only problem with a game like that is I don't know if I feel like the reviewers, I don't think they're going to shit all over the game, but I don't think they're going to give it the respect that it deserves, because it's not going to be like a linear story. You could just be like, oh, I played this and this happened the same time all the time, and this was wonderful that way. Like, it's not going to be an Uncharted where everything's scripted. It's not going to be Gears or Halo. It's something else. Which I think is cool, but I don't know. My only fear is like, it'll do its million because there's at least 1 million people that bought the first one. So I know there's a lot of people that are interested in the next one. But after that, I'm just hoping that word of mouth is strong enough to push it forward, especially with co-op, because that game sorely needed co-op. But yeah, man. Oh, other thing, man. So what do you think about Xbox getting turning some of their games into exclusives now? Before it was play everywhere, right? And I guess with constant people saying and complaining, and then PC people not living up to saying, a lot of people said, oh, why do I need to get an Xbox if I can buy this on PC? I don't need an Xbox, I can buy this on PC. And then the game comes out and they didn't buy it on PC. So it's like, well, it's about to go back to being exclusive. I don't think all the games, but State of Decay probably stays play anywhere because it does have a fan base on PC. And I say the same thing for Forza, but a game like Crackdown might not be play anywhere because I don't think it has a fan base on PC at all. So that might be, a true exclusive. I don't know what else is coming out. Below might be. I don't know if Below is an exclusive. I'm not sure. But I know Cuphead should be play anywhere. So I don't know. What do you think? You think that? Well, obviously the PC guys are going to bitch, the ones that complain, but put a rock. The hell, I can't hear you, sir.
Damn, my mic. All right, you hear me?
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go.
I was like, damn, this thing's fucking up. But I think this decision is being made because the whole Play Anywhere Windows 10 thing, I don't think is that successful. In November or December, an article came out saying that a lot of people were getting refunds for Call of Duty version on the Windows 10 store because majority bought it on Steam. And then when you look at Forza and Gears, most PC gamers didn't buy those games. Majority of the sales were all on Xbox One. Like, very little people bought Forza Horizon 3 on PC. Like, there's people playing it, but that's only because they bought it on Xbox One and you can play it on PC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's different than an actual PC gamer who doesn't own an Xbox One actually going out and buying the game themselves. Not that many people did that. Most of the people who are playing on PC own an Xbox One and it's just a play anywhere title. That's not the same as buying it on PC. So I don't think these Xbox games. I don't think console games sell generally too well on PC anyway, because they like their own stuff. You know, they like their StarCraft, the World of Warcraft. They have their games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think PC is more so for the Asian market, to be
Yeah.
honest. I don't really think it's for
Because
Europe.
Europe's also big on that.
Yeah.
But
well,
they have
yeah,
their own,
I guess you're right. But
they have
like,
their own ecosystem. They
because
have their own thing.
remember when Xbox and PlayStation tried to forge their way into China and nobody released their console sales? And I was talking to somebody. I'm like, look, man, those places don't play consoles. They've been playing PC so long. Like, they have PC cafes. Like, that's where they hang out. Like, that's their life. So they basically sit in a computer chair and then play games like some people until they die. So you know, they're kind of hardcore when it comes to the PC scene. That's just what they do. You know, Microsoft and Sony thought consoles, it just, to them, it doesn't make sense. Like, if I can go play video games all day for like $15, why the fuck am I buy a console and have to pay like $400? Yeah, it's cheaper in the long run, but I get the experience of hanging out with my friends at the cafe and just playing games for hours on end or whatever. However.
Yeah. So I see. I don't think the Play Anywhere strategy is working as much as Phil would like. So I think he's probably going to go back to exclusives simply because it makes Xbox, because when you think about it, saying, hey guys, we're going to put Xbox games on PC because, you know, we're consumer friendly. As a company, yeah, Microsoft looks good doing that. But as an Xbox brand, that doesn't help Xbox in any way. That doesn't do anything for Xbox. It doesn't mean anything. For Xbox gamers, it's not like, oh shit, yeah, that's great. You're putting the games on a platform I don't care about in the first place. Good job, Microsoft. Like, no one really cares if Microsoft decides to keep Xbox games exclusive to Xbox, because it makes the brand stronger. It makes the item itself look better.
Yeah. You know what's funny is like, to me, I always felt it didn't matter to me whether or not they were exclusive or not, because I got to play the games I wanted to play. But it seems like, especially people that say they play PC, it's almost like they feel like they want to buy the console just to play the exclusives, even if it means losing those games on the PC. Yeah. It's almost like they say they be like, I'd rather Xbox have all of their games exclusive, so it forces me to buy the console. It's like they don't want to play on PC and they need a reason to get off of it. I mean, is just the way I'm reading it?
I think for some people like that. I think ultimately it's like this. When you just kind of look at PlayStation 4. Yeah. When they introduced PS Now, and now they're gonna put PS4 games on the PS Now. Yeah. Now, obviously, most people don't really want to play these games streaming, you know, because it doesn't look good. You know, the internet's laggy. The experience is not that well. But at the same time, it takes away from the console itself. You know what I'm saying? Taking features, taking games away from the console and putting it somewhere else doesn't help the console. Now, some people could say, I'll just ignore it, which is fine. It's either going to look negative or it's going to be indifferent. But there is no positive to saying PlayStation 4 games is now on PC for the PlayStation 4 platform itself. It may be a positive for the PC gamers. It may be a positive for Sony as a whole, because now they're looking more consumer friendly. But for the PS4 console itself, there is no positive saying we're going to take your games and put it somewhere else. That doesn't help PS4 in any way whatsoever. You're either going to ignore it or it's going to look bad, which either way is not a good thing, you know. But by saying this console provides experiences in gaming that no other item can provide, that makes the console look good. You understand what I'm saying? It's providing things that you can't get anywhere else, so you see more value with your money. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if like you may not care. Let's say if Halo 6 is on PC, you may not care. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, it doesn't help Xbox One or Scorpio either. But if you can say, hey, if you want the Halo experience, you have to get it on Xbox. That just makes the product more valuable. Yeah, because you're getting something you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, I think that's why Scorpio is.
Care about it, you know?
Yeah, I think that's why Scorpio, the mind frame for what they're doing is more important. Because remember, the whole narrative was, why get an Xbox if my PC can play the game better than the Xbox? But now with the Scorpio is supposed to become the preferred place to play. I know a lot of PC guys will say, well, no, I can play the game still on my PC, but at the same time, what do you have to do in order to do that? And let's not act like everybody has thousands of dollars to put into PC parts. Like, I mean, I think that's the most asinine thing that people always say. Oh, why would I spend $500 when I could spend $1,000 or $1,200 on like memory cards and all this other shit? But like, why the fuck? Like, you want to do all this?
I don't really have those conversations with PC gamers because they're already used to that. They're used to an environment where you get new GPUs every 6 months and stuff like that. Like by the end of the year, the Vega GPU is gonna have like 12 T flops of power and stuff like that. Now, whether you're gonna pay the $600-700 to do it, that's on the gamer. But if there's a gamer willing to do it, so I don't really go into those. Why am I gonna buy an Xbox? Like when I went on my thing saying I go PC gaming, it wasn't because of power. It was if Sony goes full digital. Let's say if they create a digital store on Xbox on PC. Yeah. My reason I would go PC is not because of the power or because of 4K and stuff like that. It's because on the one console device, you could get PlayStation games, you can get Xbox games, and you can get PC games. So I was just thinking of more as the convenience of getting everything on the one platform. It wasn't so much because, I could play this game at 4K or whatever. It's just convenience of being able to do everything without having to own multiple devices. That's all it was for me. You know what I'm saying? But, some PC gamers, especially the ones, and, you got also guys who pretend they own gaming PCs, but they really don't.
Yeah, that's true.
But the few that do, the ones that aren't doing it to talk shit, the ones that are willing to pay $1,200 so they could get, the very best experience, there's really nothing much you can say to them, because if they're willing to spend the money, and it is what it is. It doesn't matter what.
If you're willing to spend that much money, why the fuck would you even care about console gaming anyway? That's
what I'm saying. That's just more bragging rights. They're spending the $1,200. It's like they're spending the $1,500 to show off.
Yeah, to be honest, if I buy the most powerful PC ever, like this super duper computer, right? I'm not worrying about no fucking console gaming if that's really where my mindset is, Yeah. To me, that's like if you became a movie star, you're fucking supermodels. You're not trying to hit on the bitch at Walmart. Like, what the fuck is that all about? Yeah.
So it's just I think I know for some, because PC has their fanboys, and I think every product has fanboys, but I think for them. Because when you think of, hell, we even call it console war. We don't call it, gaming wars. We call it console war. So maybe they feel left out.
Well, they definitely want to. They definitely. They want to. Otherwise, why would they interject? Yeah. I'm just saying, like, why? Like, I don't know if you're big into cars, but I remember in high school they used to have like on certain days they would go out. Everybody come out with their car. And usually you're talking about people with Hondas and Nissans. Yeah. I grew up in the hood, so nobody's driving around with like a fucking Benz and shit like that. Unless that's their mother's car and they know they're about to get their ass whooped when they get home. Yeah. But nobody's driving around with that shit. You're talking about some regular ass shit. Yeah. So if somebody did come over there and was like, yo, look at my new car, and it's like some fucking Acura something.
Looking at my Maserati and shit like
some like near luxury shit.
You should be in Uptown, Manhattan.
Like what the fuck are you doing over here with this shit? Like this shit not even kitted. You didn't even put no turbo. This shit is just fucking stock. like you just bought this shit because it's expensive. Like fuck out of here.
Pretty much.
You ain't do no work on it, nothing. Yeah, but to me, it's gonna be an interesting E3. I give it that much. I don't know what. Obviously, PlayStation has about 2 games that we know they're coming out with. With Sucker Punch, they have something in I forget about the studio. And some other studio that they have that's coming out with something. But Microsoft, I don't know. You know what? Puerto Rock, I've been pleading with Microsoft on Twitter. It's like, Microsoft, you need to build Disney World of gaming over there, like, so it's just easier for you to be able to work on titles. Like, I should be able to go from 343 to Coalition to Turn 10, and it just be one huge ass campus, and everything is everybody has their own big space, but everything is in walking distance or at least go-kart distance. And, it's just like kind of like a gamer's paradise, kind of like Google and shit. If they do that, but do it for their games camp, just call it, I don't know, the Xbox campus or whatever. That's what they need to do. If they do that and they could build studios off of that, they basically need to take their, because everybody's complaining about like, well, 343 needs to do another game. And I say, no, don't make 343 do another game. Make somebody from 343 that's like saying, okay, I'm done. I'm tired of making Halos. All right, what do you want to do? I want to just do something different. Guess what? We're going to build another studio over here. You'll become the head of that. Working with these other people from 343 that don't want to do Halo anymore. And we're going to grab you a bunch of youngins from out of college. Here, come over here. Throw you over there, put them in the studio. Now you teach them how to make a game and build something. That's what they should do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they should do. I mean, instead of having people go away and go to other companies because they can't, just build the environment for them to thrive and then build other studios. To me, it just makes more sense that way. And then have it all in one central location. People don't have to relocate. It feels like, you make it easier for them. They don't feel like they have to find another job. Like, to me, you build that type of environment. Not to say that they don't have a great environment as is individually. And obviously, you got studios overseas, and it is what it is. You can't really like force people to leave, where they live. But I'm just saying that, to have majority of your studios in one location would be ideal. Just because it's just easier getting information. You don't have to worry about somebody flying or getting some hard ass email encryption. Because certain files are just too big to just send over. It's just like, look, man, just bring your hard drive over, plug it in. All right, let's figure this shit out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. E3 is going to be huge for Microsoft, because I think that's going to be the start of. Let me ask you this: what would you like, realistically? What would you like to see that in your opinion, and not exaggerated shit, but realistically, what would you like to see from Microsoft this E3 where you feel they will knock it out the park? And also, at the same time, what do you think, in your opinion, you would see it as a fail if Microsoft only did this? What would be your two extremes? How would you see it as, damn, this is a good E3? Or if you look at it, you'd be like, man, Microsoft, you fucked this up. What would be your two views?
Well, E3? For Microsoft to really fuck it up, they would have to just only talk about Scorpio the whole time, and then maybe show a little bit of Crackdown, obviously Sea of Thieves and State of Decay, and then show some multi-plats, and then bring out what's that shit? Fucking Minecraft again in VR, and be like, oh, we got another VR, we got a VR set. Now you can do Minecraft in VR, and then just show indies, and I'll be like, oh no, motherfucker, no.
so that you know what, Belina, that's what I was thinking also. Like for Microsoft to fuck it up for me would be, they show Crackdown, State of Decay, Sea of Thieves in 4K. They show multiplats, and then they might show some weird shit like with VR or HoloLens, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I would be like, no, yeah. Please, like I have a studio announcement, something. Now what would you do? That's a good E3. What would you like to see to impress you?
Well, one day we have to show. They're gonna have to show Sea of Thieves as it's going to be, because everybody sees how, it's like they're seeing like the tech demo version. Like nobody sees like, it fully, populated with sea creatures and all that shit. Like we've seen the picture, that little still shot where they go through and they see the monster and all. Yeah, but we're not actually seeing it all happen, Like we need to see that actually happen. Like a live action showing you like you going on a campaign, or maybe a short campaign. That's not something long, because obviously you don't want to sit there for like 30 minutes to an hour watching somebody do a campaign. But maybe like they throw you in midway to close to the end of it. That would be cool. Because people, that aren't big on Sea of Thieves just think it's, they just I don't know, you just look at it and be like, it's cartoony, even though the art direction is dope. I mean, I've played it, so I know, but I can see how some people are just not like interested in it because it just doesn't have enough there as far as what they've shown to really get people but so excited for it. I mean, you can get excited for it if you put in your mind what they've shown that will be there. But if you're not gonna use your imagination and just going off of what they just shown, it's just like, it's a bit lackluster as far as what you're seeing. State of Decay has to show well. It just has to show well. People have to know that it's not glitchy anymore. It runs smooth, like you expect the AAA to run, and they got to know exactly. They got to explain exactly what you got to do in it. But the main game that they got to show is Crackdown because people just didn't believe it exists. So they just like if that does everything they said it will, that'll be big for them. If it does everything because it'll be the first of its kind really doing that. And then after that, all they got to do is show one I would say maybe two exclusives we didn't know about. Maybe they could show an exclusive maybe they bring back something that we thought was dead, like Fable.
Yeah.
And then show us something that we didn't, maybe Shanghai Heights, which we didn't we saw, but we didn't really know what the hell it was. It was just like somebody walking down a building. Or maybe they show Perfect Dark or something that we just didn't even know existed altogether, Yeah,
some nice surprises. That would be cool.
Yeah, or maybe like a Rise or something like that. A game that had potential, but just didn't pan out because it had a couple of shortcomings here and there. But yeah, I would say they have to show the three games. They got to deliver. Cuphead has to come out. It has to release. Like it has to come out June, whatever. I know that the dudes are working hard and it's rough and they got to draw that shit by hand, but hopefully it like releases at least like, late June to early July at the latest, hopefully. Okay. If they're gonna do VR, just keep it short and sweet. Like just no standing on stage using we've seen that a million times. Just basically show a picture and say, look, these are the headsets that are available, these are the price ranges, and then maybe at the end show a bundle. We'll be good with that. Because that's fine. If you tell me Scorpio's $499, $399, and then say with VR it's $6 or $599, okay. I can rock with that. That means that headset's $200. That'll make somebody say, that's especially a hardcore. It's like, ooh, I'm about to get Scorpio, but just for extra $200, I can get that VR shit. Why not? Fuck it.
Okay. You think they're gonna show VR this year, Microsoft?
I don't know. I mean, if they have, I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna show. I think that's crazy.
You know what? I think I don't think they're gonna get on stage.
Not now. I don't think they're gonna show it like off the bat. I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna get on stage and show. Like if they do VR, it'll be like a sizzle reel, similar to what they do with the indies.
Okay.
It'll just show people walking around and you're looking at like first person view and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then all of a sudden it's like, they'll flash somebody with the VR headset on and be like, oh, it's VR. And then the players show a couple of games doing gameplay minimal, and then just be like, oh, these headsets are coming out, Because then when those come out, then that's another talking piece. Like this is what Microsoft needs more than anything. They need talking pieces. Because right now people are talking about the Scorpio. That's well and good, but after E3, what they need is the conversation to continue, right? That's why I disagreed with a lot of people that say Scorpio needs they need a showing now. Because my thing is, if you show it now, then people are going to want to see the games, right? And not even just the games, but they're going to at least want to see the games that are playing now versus the ones that are playing on the Scorpio. to me, hold that shit for later. Because once E3 drops, right? You see all the new games coming out, and you'd be like, "Oh, this is all wonderful." And then it's a drought because E3 is the 15th, right? From maybe let's say around June 20th, it starts getting dry. You know, all that news starts to dry up, and then all the way up until like was it the August 15th or something like that? That's when what's the name of that conference? GDC, not GDC. What's the name of the thing? Gamescom. Yeah, that's when Gamescom comes out. So, you know, for that period of time, the shit dries up. So to me, it would make sense for Microsoft to be like, guess what? We have, I don't know what games are coming out in the we have Injustice, Xbox at One S versus Xbox Scorpio. You know, they don't even have to show the PS4 version. If the Digital Foundry wants to do that, then let them. Or whoever else, whatever other company. But they need to just focus on, number one, I don't think they should show PlayStation anything because motherfuckers will just be mad. You know, like, oh, you know, you're fucking assholes. You know that shit is better, and you're just trying to fucking shit on. Be like, oh man, just stay away from that shit altogether. You know how motherfuckers get salty.
Oh, that's just crazy.
No, because of, I mean, well, PlayStation has never done. I don't think they've done that. They just said 1080p makes you a better gamer. But you know damn well Xbox dudes would get mad if, I mean, they got mad when motherfuckers used to put up like, this is the Xbox version all pixelated and this is the PS4 version, you know? So, so if even if Microsoft did it with the Pro and they didn't put no filters on, they didn't fuck with, you know, motherfuckers would still be pissed. So, you know, I just say stay away from that shit at all costs. Let some other site do that. I mean, Digital Foundry is going to do it, and they're going to get shit for it. You know, it's going to be a role reversal, but you know.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how this comes out.
Yeah, but I mean, PlayStation is good. They just got to. I mean, they got all those games. I mean, they hold God of War in their pocket, save it until March. And they'll be fine. I mean, Spider-Man comes out whenever. They got Days Gone. Well, that's a weird thing too. They talk about Days Gone coming out August. Didn't they say? Yeah. Didn't they say Uncharted's coming out in August?
Yeah, Uncharted's coming out in August. So
Days Gone. Did they say June? Or they said it was supposed to come out summer?
Days Gone was a rumor. Yeah, that was a rumor.
I'm about to say they just throwing it out there. They just doing a sneak.
I'm saying it was one of those, you know, like Australia fucking. Rumors and shit.
Oh, okay.
There was nothing concrete.
Well, I mean, I guess they could release it in early next year if they wanted to. If they feel that Last of Us isn't going to come out until 2019, because you're not going to launch 2 zombie games in the same year. I just don't see.
Yeah, I don't see that either.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. You could, but I just
we have to also see what Sony does at E3, because if they announce more new IPs. Then it's like, all right, some of these games are going to have to come out soon because you can't release everything in 2018, 2019.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be Microsoft's dilemma until Scalebound came out, remember?
Yeah.
Because that was going to be like, well, when you're going to release that. And see, technically, Scalebound wasn't going to come out until this holiday.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about it wasn't going to make it. So
there's a lot of shit.
Yeah. So that's the funny thing is, Scalebound they were like, damn, when's Scalebound coming out? They don't even have nowhere to put this. Then the shit gets canceled. Be like, oh, Microsoft had those games.
I admit I was kind of pissed when they canceled that shit.
Oh no, yeah, don't get me wrong. I was mad. But then I found out what it was. Like, it is what it is, man.
Yeah,
look,
I mean, it's water under the bridge now. At this point,
nothing they can do. I mean, they got. Look, man. Sometimes you get hustled. Sometimes you get hustled. You learn. You know. You just
gotta keep pushing forward, and you know, hopefully, Microsoft surprises us with some new shit. I think a Fable surprise will be.
To be honest, I hope that's what I'll be. So I think Platinum owes Microsoft a fucking game. So they better give them something. If they can get a near automata to Sony, I mean, they better just have that shit as like I owe you to Microsoft. Just be like, look, you owe me a game, so I don't know. You pick one. You know, it better be good. It has to be at least rated as good as Nier Automata. So I don't know. And if it's not, guess what? You owe me too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's what Microsoft got to do. I mean, unless they diffuse the whole Scalebound talk and then kept that shit underneath because it's just like, look, man, the shit ain't coming out no time soon. We're gonna say we canceled it. You continue working on it, bitch. We're not paying you no more motherfucking money, and if don't make us get our lawyers on you.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
But we'll see.
That's all right, brother.
All right. Oh shit, it's 6 o'clock. All right, man.
Gotta get cooking, man.
yeah, you know. But yeah, it is a good podcast. Enjoyed having you here. Shout out to let me say what's up to all the people's in the comment section. Let's see who's up in here. Who's next gaming? What's up? You got Michael Kane Way. All right, what's good? Other Zinc. All right, periodical table. Nice. You got Sal. 7th. Fire Shadow. Yeah, what up? Logic Gamer. What's good? Dr. Gauntlet. What's good? Oh, Hello Storm. My man's always up in here. DJ saying, what is going on, sir? And who else is up in here? Oh shit, we got Porter Rock up in this motherfucker. What's up? Tony up in here. Guys Armor up in here. What's going on, man? Hey, Kelvin. What up, Kelvin? Yeah, that's what's up. Let me see him. I don't want to forget nobody. Wait, hold up. Kirk Johnson. What's good, bro? And my other dude, Mike. What up, son? All right. We about to be out of here. I gotta cook and I gotta eat. So it is.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It was good being here, man. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, next time, man. Next time. I don't know, maybe another 2-3 weeks. We could do one.
That's it. Yeah, we'll do this shit. Yeah, we'll do it randomly and shit.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, folks. We'll holla. Peace.
Later, people.